I think in 5 years, Craig will have made his own tournament the biggest tournament in the world. It will supersede the ADCC.
Bam. Welcome to the Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. You guys know who we are. Before we get into it, do us a favor, like, subscribe, follow the shit, 5 stars, all that. Helps us support the show, and we're almost at the next milestone. And once we reach that one, we'll want to be at the next one. So help us keep pushing it forward. Today we're talking about how Craig Jones has been elevated to God status. Now, JT doesn't like the choice of words. He doesn't think God really hits the mark. That's fine. But we can agree that Craig has elevated to a level not previously seen for any grappling athlete.
I would agree with that. Craig's celebrity has extended beyond his jiu-jitsu skills. So, yeah, he would be the number one most famous guy in jiu-jitsu, I would say.
So I guess, like, if we're looking back, Gordon Ryan was maybe the person, like, prior to Craig, who'd probably become the biggest, like, most celebrity person in jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Craig has managed to surpass that, and I guess he's been on the cusp for a while, but he's kind of now moved out of jiu-jitsu and just into like regular stardom in a sense.
Yeah, he's not a mainstream celebrity, but people who don't do jiu-jitsu have heard of him. Because of his reach in social media, what he's done with going on podcasts and just his general ability to create attention in a sensational way, people are keen. People want entertainment. And actually, Jeff Glover had said, and I saw Jeff Glover at the after party at CJI, actually. We had a good chat. He's a lovely guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a legend. He believes that Craig Jones is what a professional wrestler, like a WWE type wrestler would be if they were a real human. He said...
Let me process that for a second.
He said, I know what Craig Jones's ass looks like. He's like, how many grapplers can you say that about? You know what I mean? And he was just saying, when I think about Craig Jones, straight away I just see his ass. It's like hard for me to shake that. But also he's great at jiu-jitsu, right? Like you can't deny that. So it's really interesting that he's done really uncanny, weird, funny things, which might be considered taboo, disrespectful, all this stuff. But really at the end of the day, that's what makes things sensational.
I mean, yeah, he's done extremely borderline things, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at CJI, like there was a lot of shit there that wouldn't go down well.
No.
Typically, you know, like if you look at a lot of the comedic dialogue from Renato Laranja about Gabby and about women, and you're like, well, that was really poor taste, but it was totally in line with what everyone was expecting.
But I think the thing that was actually surprising, this is the thing I get out of it, and this is the kind of genius. You come for one thing, but you stay for another.
Yeah.
Right? And so what got you in isn't what keeps you on, which is interesting in terms of human psychology. Now, a lot of people don't know this about Craig. He actually studied psychology at university, and he's actually better at the psychological element than most people would probably give him credit for. And I give him full credit for this because I trained with him for many years, so I understand kind of a bit how he thinks. And it was a Gabby renaissance. Like even the
incredible.
Like what you don't understand, and I was like, oh shit, this looks bad. When he kissed Gabby at the weigh-in, she's like, that's it. She's blowing up. Like, I'm not doing this, and she was. I think that was completely engineered.
Yeah.
You know, like
absolutely.
But it gets more people like, oh no, is it? Is it not?
It's the WWE drama.
Yeah, right. And everything needs that. It doesn't matter if it's jiu-jitsu or not. Every kind of event needs something that gets you intrigued. Like if you're just like, all right, this guy, that guy, boring.
Yeah, it's kind of the UFC embedded, but like even more exciting.
Yeah,
like,
and if we can throw back, I can't remember the comedian's name. It'll come to me. Who he really changed comedy. Jim Carrey did I think it's called Man on the Moon. I'm trying to remember the comedian. It'll come to me. But basically, he used to do rubber matches where he would wrestle women. And people are like, this is bullshit, you're fighting women. And he's like, because I'm stronger. And just do all this silly stuff. Kaufman. It was the gentleman's name. I think, Mark Kaufman? Anyway, it was very much that. It felt like that to me. I'm like, this is a rubber match. This is a kind of a bit of a nonsense match in a way.
Yeah.
You know, But
It's a piece of entertainment.
people wanted to see it. Give the people what they want.
This episode is brought to you by Parry Athletics. Parry Athletics make the best no-gi training gear in the world of jiu-jitsu. They've been a show sponsor of ours for some time now. We love them. We love their gear. They make the greatest training shorts, both for in the gym, lifting weights and doing your mobility, as well as being on the mats. You can get 20% off when you use the code bulletproof20 at checkout. Go to parryathletics.com and make sure to use the code bulletproof20 to get 20% off. Do you know anyone that was like there for that? Actually, I did. Two of the guys here in the office yesterday, I was like, did you guys like Sam and Dylan? Not jiu-jitsu guys. I'm like, did you watch the event? They're like, just the match with Gabby. And I'm like, oh, that's hilarious.
He got the people in.
Because for me and probably for you too and most jiu-jitsu folks, like very little interest in that. Right? I was like, oh, I wonder how that plays out, but don't really give a f***. But for them, it was like, yeah, we're tuning in for that shit.
But when was the last time they did that? Like an adult super fight between a guy and a gal.
Yeah, I've never seen one before.
It's maybe never happened, right?
No, that's right.
In and of itself, that is spectacular. The $1 million in suitcases.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
No.
Right?
Yep.
All
The glasses with the little cocaine spoon. Like there's
the sugar spoon.
There's so many details in his game, right? In his kind of in this game that he's playing, that you're like, holy shit! Like, because here's what strikes me about him, and I think this is pretty clear at the event. He is not he's not like an extroverted kind of guy.
No.
He didn't talk a lot at the event. He didn't, like when he got on the mic, like most of the stuff he did around the Gabby match was like posturing. Yeah, it wasn't him saying a lot of shit. Like he kind of, Hanato did a lot of talking, Gabby did a lot of talking. He, at the end of the event when he got on the mic, he was like, after parties at Win, see you there. Yeah, like, right? So he doesn't immediately strike you as the kind of guy that thrives in these hugely like social situations. But somehow he's
orchestrated it.
The guy in the middle of these situations.
Yes.
Which to me, I'm like, man, hats off. Like it's just incredible.
I think the interesting thing has been how Craig Jones has been able to use jiu-jitsu to connect himself to celebrities much larger than himself, whether that be GSP or that be...
Did he hang out with GSP?
Yeah. Karate Combat in Abu Dhabi.
Of course.
Right? That's how he got the whole alleyway hooked up, right?
Yeah.
Now, we still don't know really who funded it, and maybe we're never going to know, and that's fine. But interesting enough, like he's on Rogan, he was on Chris Williams, he was on Lex Friedman. Like he is going to platforms where, I mean, yeah, he has El Segundo, right? He has his own podcast, but he's doing whatever he can so that more people who are maybe on the fringe of jiu-jitsu are drawn in by, who's this crazy Australian guy?
Yeah.
Because what is very interesting to me is that American viewers and people who it is refreshing to see that style, his style, which is kind of understated. You don't know if he's joking or not. No. Now, as Aussies, we get it. We're like, he's taking the piss.
Yeah.
That's a very common thing in Australia, to just say something absolutely so far out, but just say it deadpan and just see if you get a reaction.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh, is he serious?
Did he mean that?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, it's kind of like sarcasm mixed with a bit of, wit. And it's so interesting because people still don't know how to gauge Craig.
No.
They're still not sure if he's joking.
The American audience in particular, like you see it even when he's, even when he was talking with Chris Williams.
Yeah.
You could see that points like Chris, like, well, I'm not really sure how to respond to that.
Should I laugh?
And he's English brethren. He gets that sense of humor, right?
Sure.
But yeah, Craig plays that game extremely well. So here's my thinking. I can see that he's going to be the guy. He's going to be somehow instrumental in exposing grappling to a whole new part of the world.
Sure.
Like he's going to bring in an audience that wasn't there before and that wouldn't have found it if it had have just been, these are the best athletes and this is the event where you can see them fight.
Yeah.
Right? I've had that situation a couple of times recently where I've come to training with some water, but I haven't had any electrolytes, and I've finished training and I've had to go to a convenience shop and buy myself some kind of sports drink, usually a Gatorade. Cost me like $7. it's small, and it really doesn't contain that much of the good stuff that I'm looking for, which are the electrolytes. Sodi, on the other hand, is my partner when it comes to hydration, and I'd simply just run out of it. And it sucks because I got to go buy expensive stuff that doesn't do anywhere near as good a job. I'm super stoked that we've been restocked with the Sodi, and now I can be properly hydrated when I train jiu-jitsu. This has always been an underexplored aspect of my training, and I'm so stoked that we now have these guys in place to support us and also the listeners of the show. So if you want to be hydrated on the mats so that you can perform at your best and have the best mental clarity while training, get yourself some Sodi. Go to sodi.com.au. That's SODII.com.au. Get yourself some delicious hydration salts and use the code bulletproof15 for 15% off. Go to sodi.com.au. Get yourself hydrated. But not fear, but I would think we probably lose him he probably like transcends jiu-jitsu not too far from the future to go to bigger things.
Potentially, yeah. I think it's already there. I mean, I think Craig had already looked at the game and went, "Oh, I'm not going to get where I want to be being a jiu-jitsu athlete. So what do I do now? It's topped out." And look, Gordon Ryan could have done the same, but he was just too caught up in the zero sum of being the greatest grappler of all time.
Yeah, I don't think Gordon could have done it. Doesn't have the charisma.
No, he doesn't. But
right?
what I'm saying is
he's got the skills in jiu-jitsu.
He had the reach, he had the position, he had the money. If he had the imagination and different things, he could have gone there. But I called this a little while ago, he will be the Dana White of jiu-jitsu. He will be the matchmaker. He will be the front man promoting the big shows, and he'll be the one to bring Brock Lesnar in to fight Gabby. And, he's going to be the one that's going to extend the boundaries. And, I don't know where it goes. I think the challenge is it's really hard to keep up such a big show of a life. Yeah. Because he travels a lot.
Yeah.
He's in Uzbekistan or he's in Ukraine. He's oil wrestling in Turkey. The guy lives this rock star life. It sounds like it would be really tough to keep up that life. It looks fun.
If you had to make a call on where Craig Jones is 5 years from now, what's your prediction, Mystic JT?
I don't know about 5 years from now. I think in 5 years, Craig will have made his own tournament the biggest tournament in the world. It will supersede the ADCC. So however he does that, I believe that will happen. A lot of people saying he can't repeat it. I don't think that's true. I think he can repeat it. I don't know if it can be sustained. I don't know if it can be evolved. My concern is that Craig doesn't live a healthy lifestyle. It's like a Kanye thing. It's like, oh, this big star, and then secretly they're addicted to drugs and just dying behind the camera, right? And Craig, I think Craig puts on more of a show about, what he does with his life than is true. I think that behind closed doors, maybe a little bit more conservative, even though the man can drink. I think we might lose Craig Jones early.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Craig Jones goes out.
You think he parties too hard?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think in 10 years, maybe he's not here. I think he might go out like a true rock star, and then he's the GOAT.
Wow.
Not in 5 years, but
10
in his lifetime.
I mean, we all die in our lifetime,
no.
right?
What?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this I'm not saying this in a happy way, because that's wrong. He's, it's tough. He lives a rock star lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. I reckon I think he has a good time, and I think he does a very good job of portraying the rock star lifestyle.
Right.
You look at the guy, he's in shape. He's obviously using performance-enhancing drugs, but it's not like he has to be looking after himself to some degree, surely. And I'm also looking at it as he's got a stake, right, in a lot of different things now. He's think about podcasting thing, El Segundo, the productions, B Team Studios, and I'm like, this motherfucker's a businessman. And most of these businessmen these days, they look after themselves because they know that they got to you now got to perform in those different arenas.
Does he become some magic hybrid, which is like Joe Rogan meets Dana White?
Yeah, I think he's maybe going to become
the celebrity.
If you were to merge Alex Hormozy with Dana White, you get Craig Jones.
Maybe.
But you got to then bring in a sense of humor somewhere from
Sure.
Britain or Australia. 'Cause
Something like
sorry,
that.
America. But
Sure. Yeah. No, I think it's very interesting. I think it's good for jiu-jitsu for now. But then maybe it's like John Jones. There was a point in time when John Jones was the greatest, and then the cocaine and the hookers and speeding in the Ferrari and abusing people, and then, or maybe he's too smart for that. I don't know. But there's a point at which we all know the rock star lifestyle is not sustainable, and so how long can he keep it up? I don't want to see the show end. I'm here for it. Let's see where this goes. The guy's doing well, and it's been good for jiu-jitsu so far. So let's keep the party happening.
no, I'm here for it too.
Credit to the guy.
Thanks, fam.